welcome to the WrestleTalk News. I'm Luke Owen, and this is my review of WWE Fastlane 2023, where Cody Rhodes won the tag team titles, Jade Cargill made her on-screen WWE debut, and Carlito returned with new garbage music. Also, Corey Graves was dressed like Barbenheimer. There may have only been 5 matches, but I'm going to talk to you about them for the next 10 minutes or so. WWE is such a hot product at the moment. They are killing it with attendance, ratings, and in-ring action. When they're in front of the right crowd, which is more often than not, you get an absolutely great time. Case in point, WWE Fastlane, a show that very few had any actual interest going into, but have come out talking about what a fun show it was. A more or less inconsequential show outside of the tag title switch, but a fun show nonetheless. And perhaps even more interestingly, it's the total opposite of AEW's Wrestle Dream from last week. WWE Fastlane really set out the stall of what B shows can look like. 3-hour broadcast with 5 matches. You shave off half an hour of the runtime and it's basically an in-your-house show, or to give it a more recent comparison, an NXT TakeOver from 2016. With just 5 matches as compared to the 14 matches on last week's pay-per-view, each match was given time, and no match felt like it overstayed its welcome or left you pondering, why was this on pay-per-view? Here's a fun fact for you. There were just over 90 minutes of wrestling on this show, about 93 minutes in total, across all 5 matches. That meant around half of the show was entrances, video packages, ad breaks, and sponsor spots. And this will sound like a bit of a backhanded compliment, but I mean it as a full compliment. WWE really know how to pad out a show, because Fastlane flew by. And a lot of that is down to the restraint shown by Triple H to only book 5 matches. I'm sorry that I sound like a broken record, but it really is a strength of the show. Sure, we could have had Gunther versus Ciampa or saved Gunther versus Gable. Sure, we could have had Rhea Ripley defend her title, but WWE have struck the right balance, in my opinion, of having big matches on pay-per-view and having big matches on Raw and SmackDown, which means you don't have to bog down pay-per-views with the get everyone on the card mentality, while at the same time showing the networks why they're paying you billions of dollars to broadcast the weekly shows, because you put the big matches on them. And the first of those big matches on pay-per-view was one that felt like it was sort of thrown together at the last minute, actually. We might have had Cody and Jay feuding with the Judgment Day over the last few weeks, but the pair of them weren't quite sure why they were challenging for the tag belts in their promos on Raw, and well, now they've won the things, which I didn't see coming. For my money, this was the best match on the whole show, with fantastic action bell to bell. And it was really simple Judgment Day formula stuff. Jay got worked over by the heels to build to the Cody hot tag. Rhea and Dom came out for interference and some near falls. JD McDonough came out to also help Judgment Day, but it was JD's interference that backfired, because he accidentally hit Damian Priest with the briefcase, and Cody hit a crossroads on him on the announcer's table to take him out of the equation, and then hit a modified 3D with Jay for the win. I am genuinely surprised that Jay and Cody won the belt, but it sets up some interesting storylines for Raw. Less so on the tease of Judgment Day splitting issues, because I'll be honest, I'm a bit over that now. But with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, KO and Sami worked so hard to win those tag belts. They overcame the Bloodline, which by the way also included Jey Uso, to win those tag titles in the main event of WrestleMania. And Owens has been pretty upset with Cody since he brought Jey over to Raw, with Sami trying to play peacekeeper between the two, and now Jey Uso has won those tag titles. Again, the titles that KO and Sami lost at the last pay-per-view. This should set up a great tag match for Crown Jewel between Cody and Jay versus Sami and KO, and I'm all here for it. And that will also act as a nice stopgap between the 4 of them before they all team up to take on Judgment Day at Survivor Series. LWO took on Not the Hurt Business in our next match, which was the shortest on the show, but fair enough, I guess. The gimmick was that Montez Ford in particular was acting quite cocky, but Lashley was all about the business of kicking someone's ass, or hurting if you will. The other gimmick is that Rey and Santos didn't have a tag partner, as Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro had been taken out on SmackDown, and whoever Rey texted was not returning his texts. So the heels worked over Rey and built to a Santos hot tag that wasn't there, which eventually brought out that replacement partner, a returning Carlito, who's reportedly been signed by WWE since just after Backlash early this year, just hasn't been featured on TV. This was a fun surprise, only slightly ruined by one small detail. They changed Carlito's music, and they changed it to some generic bit of guff that will never get the pop his original theme did. Look, I get it. WWE want to change and update all of their themes, but do they have to change and update them to ones that sound so painfully generic? Everyone sounds like they're coming out to original Superstar Entrance Theme 21 from one of the old SmackDown games. Carlito came out and did some moves, getting the win with the backstabber. And this is, fun fact, Lashley's first pay-per-view match since Backlash, the one where Carlito returned. And one might think that a loss like this could hurt the momentum of his new group, but you can easily play up the "they didn't prepare for Carlito" card. But more interestingly, that Dawkins and Ford weren't taking the match seriously enough. They announced that WWE will be returning to Saudi Arabia on November 4th for Crown Jewel, and we can use this time to announce that we will be doing a watch party for that show at the Long Arm Pub and Brewery in Shoreditch in London with a live edition of No Holds Barred. Details of that party can be found in the link in the video description below. We will see you there, and I cannot wait to see you there. And maybe we'll also see Jade Cargill on that show, as she was given more of that superstar treatment on this show of Fastlane, being shown arriving backstage and being welcomed by Triple H while photographers tried to get snaps of this new WWE megastar. This is so smart. Not every WWE fan watches AEW, and you have to look at the ratings to see a large portion of them don't. And so they likely won't be aware of who Jade Cargill is. So you show videos of her on Raw and SmackDown touting how major publications like ESPN and TMZ are reporting this as big news, and then you show it on pay-per-view being welcomed by Triple H. You could not roll out a redder carpet than this. It's great presentation of her. And it neatly tied into Io Sky defending her women's title against Charlotte Flair and Asuka. Uh-oh, Charlotte Flair in a triple threat. Well, she's either not taking the pin or she's winning the title. Amazingly, neither happened, as Io Sky hit the over-the-moonsault on Flair while she had Asuka tapping in the figure eight, which was missed by the referee, who was distracted by Bayley at ringside, and then Io Sky pinned Charlotte Flair. It was a great finish to what was a bit of a sloppy match in part, several glancing blows being covered up for by commentary, but the drama was superb. Flair was constantly overcoming the odds against Asuka and Sky, who at one point teamed up to take out the Queen. They teased the idea that Bayley was going to cost Sky the title, but she again proved that she is the biggest supporter and cheerleader of Io Sky by helping her win. Dakota Kai also came out to celebrate with them, and I really hope that they never break this team up. Pat McAfee came out to do the John Cena Money in the Bank promo by saying that Indianapolis should get a WrestleMania, but only if you shout loud enough so the people in the back can hear you. They should just do this in every town on every show. Bumble Nebraska, do you want a WrestleMania? Let them know in the back so they can hear you. He also joined commentary for John Cena and LA Knight teaming up to take on the Bloodline in a 17-minute match that could be summed up as thus. Heels worked over Cena, LA Knight got the hot tag, and he won. That's it. That's all that happened. And the crowd went ballistic, because that, my friends, is the power of star power. You can honestly close your eyes and know exactly what happened in this match. Some of you watching this video won't have seen this match, but trust me, you've seen this match. You know exactly what happened in this match, move for move. Pat was so concerned about Cena that he couldn't shut up talking about Heyman's hair. And I am all for one for LA Knight challenging Roman Reigns for the title at Crown Jewel. Speaking of titles, Damian Priest really wanted to cash in his Money in the Bank contract tonight, but Rhea Ripley convinced him not to. Though it probably would have been a good time to do so because Seth Rollins got absolutely battered in his main event last man standing match against Shinsuke Nakamura. These two had the most underwhelming mid-pay-per-view main event last time at Payback, but thankfully this match had lots of plunder and smoke and mirrors to get the crowd amped up. They used tables, they used ladders, they used more tables, they used kendo sticks, and then used some more tables. The crowd never really believed that Nakamura was going to win the title, but was so into Seth's story of overcoming all of the back pain odds to retain his title with a Falcon Arrow off the stage through a table. Michael Cole was great in this match and really put over the danger of Nakamura, especially when he misted Rollins in the face at the top of the ladder, which led to Seth falling through the announcer's table. WWE Fastlane was a totally fine show, but it was a breeze to watch and incredibly entertaining. I had a good time with this show, inconsequential as it was, and so should you. But I do hope that Crown Jewel and Survivor Series in November can bring back a bit of spark to this company creatively, as the post-SummerSlam lull has been very real this year. WWE Fastlane is still 4 out of 5, and we were tasked with naming every Hell in a Cell match on the most recent edition of Survival Series, and here is what happened. Sorry, what? Oh, come on. What's it? What is it? Look, I know McMahon's and DX had one with Big Show there. I know that happened. I said that in the video. It's just cut out of the edit. You can go watch the uncut version of it on Patreon. You'll see that I said it. I just thought it was a cage match instead.